do that opening meditation. So this one, you can close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We can feel that there is a potential within us, and we can also feel that this potential wants to be expressed. We can see that everyone is hurting in some way, even ourselves, and that pain is making us all do crazy things. And that pain arises because of causes and conditions, and those causes and conditions can be changed. New thoughts, words, and actions can be initiated or taken up that are wise, skillful, and nobly worthy of an awakened being. This will then lead to a life of freedom and true authentic happiness. An awakened life. A life that expresses that potential we all can feel within us. I want you to imagine. Imagine that world of potential now. Imagine a life of freedom. Imagine a world where everyone is free and truly happy. What does that world look like? What does that world feel like? And how would you think, speak, and act in that world? I want you to imagine that. See yourself. To help us actualize that potential, we call out now to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, masters, and teachers of the Dharma of the 3 times and the 10 directions. Please consider us with kindness and understanding, and grant us your blessings that these aspirations may be accomplished quickly. May it be that we all swiftly achieve enlightenment for the sake of all beings. Take a deep breath in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Come back to us here. So today's talk is about the 3rd element of true love, the 3rd Brahma Vihara, usually translated as sympathetic joy, from Mudita, sympathetic joy. I put it as like vicarious, connected, appreciative, sympathetic joy. The 3rd element of true love is connected joy, Mudita, and has the wish of seeing all beings flourishing and celebrating when they do. Mudita is about, and it's like all of the immeasurables are about helping us break down the barriers of our disconnect from each other. Softening those barriers, opening us up to be able to reach out, touch, and connect with the world and people around us, right? So Mudita is about connecting with others, but not only that, wishing well for others, wishing that they succeed, right? Even if you're not succeeding. Right? Mudita helps us start to forget ourselves, because we get wrapped up in the other's joy. And their joy then becomes our joy. And this idea of the other starts to dissolve and disappear. The 4 immeasurables are a fantastic way to get beyond this pesky self. Because in each of them, you begin to lose yourself. This idea, the selfish, clinging self, more and more. Mudita is good because it'll show you those times when you're judging, comparing, looking at that other person and being like, oh, how come them? Why not me? I'm smarter, better looking, right? Better educated, right? Mudita helps you start to see those inner conversations that you're having, right? Inner conversations. So that and a good place to see mudita in action is social media, right? When you're looking at, right? Because social media is a good place where people curate their lives, right? Only the best, most sexy, right? Perfect angled, filtered. Clarendon is the best filter in the universe on Instagram, right? Right? So it's good because we constantly are bombarded with this unreal view of life, right? And that you can see this inner dialogue that you have about, oh, really? You know? So it's good. Sometimes use social media as part of your Dharma. Right? Because then you can see it, right? And then you can start to see how what are these stories that are ruling you? And then, okay, so that you can start to see it, and then you can start to soften those stories. Even if, like, you need to start telling yourself different stories to get around that selfish, judgmental clinging, right? That, like, oh, well, you know, like, good for them. Like, at least they're doing some good in the world and people are resonating with what they're doing, right? Well, maybe they've been working hard behind the scenes at this, right? Or maybe, right? You start to be your own therapist, in essence, right? In essence, right? Mudita helps you put yourself in that other person's shoes, right? An aspect of mudita is to be able to change your perspective, to see life through their eyes, right? So before, like, maybe you're like, Ian, like, I can't, like, I don't, it's too far of a jump, right? Well, you can start to have that perspective shift. Mudita gives you the possibility to start to look through their eyes. What would it feel like to have that, right? Those blessings, those opportunities, what's showing up for them, right? It'd be nice. We all want to be happy. We all, again, right? We all want to flourish. We all want to have good things going for us, right? And we all know what it feels like when we're getting all green lights, right? It's amazing. We know that feeling, right? So mudita helps us be like, oh yeah, that must have felt amazing, right? And mudita spontaneously arises for your inner circle a lot of the times, right? The people that are in your in club, right? Close family and friends, and when they win, right? You win, and you can feel it. So you have a direct example of it, right? A direct example of it. Yeah. Like recently, like one of my buddies who's been like not lucky in love whatsoever, like terrible, like, you know, like movie level bad relationships. Yeah. But recently, it's all changed. Like, it's like gross how much in love these two people are. Like, it's like, come on, right? But I'm so excited for him. Like, it's amazing. Amazing. And so those moments, right? Your mudita training is to recognize those moments as well when you're celebrating the win, right? Michael, you got what place?
Third place.
Third place for your art. That's wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked.
That was an interesting experience because I think last year I went and I didn't get one of the awards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I experienced that, like, oh, you know, why didn't those people win? You know,
mudita, right? Right there.
But now it's like being the other way around. It's like, well, I still feel like, well, I see so many other talented people. I would have voted them before myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then people. Anyway. No. But yeah, it is an interesting observation.
Mm-hmm.
That, But I know, but I mean, on that topic, it's like, but when there's somebody that I cherish, like what you're talking about, I do feel proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found when I knew the people that won or sold their paintings,
Mm-hmm.
I felt happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I saw a beautiful painting and I didn't know the person who did it, it was like there was a disconnect.
Yeah. So part of mudita, the sympathetic, connected joy, is to notice those moments, right? And to savor those moments. That's part of your training, right? When you're like, yeah, good for you, man. That's awesome. You know, I know you've been working hard and you got some mad skills over there, right? When you win, I win, right? And that's what starts to, right? We're breaking down barriers, right? We've talked about the bodhisattva ideal, right? That we're all in it together, right? And the four immeasurables helps to break down those barriers. Sympathetic joy is usually one of the hardest things for people out of the four immeasurables, right? But you have to see where mudita is arising naturally within your life, and that's within your close-knit inner circle, the people that you love, right? So you start to notice it there, you savor it there, right? And you start to see, oh, that's interesting. Like, I didn't even win, but I won. Oh, okay. Again, so this illusion of separateness starts to dissolve a little bit more. Right? Now their wins become your wins. Say, in cognitive therapy, they have a practice called taking in the good, right? So when I teach the stress reduction program, we do it, right? Where like every day we meet. Okay, so what's something that happened from your day today that was a win, right? And in mudita, as it relates to mudita and connected sympathetic joy, sometimes it's hard, right? That like there's that big barrier between us over here and them out there, right? So a way to train is that you find somebody and you start to take in the good of them. Because the brain has a negativity bias to protect us, to go back to that primal thing, that primal brain that we talked about, right? But it can be trained. It's malleable. You can bypass it. Take some time, right? In mudita, in specific, what you can do as part of your process and training, because especially like if you got beef with someone, well, guess what? Then you can see all their zits and the warts and the, right? How they chomp with their mouth open, right? But but a good comparison is when you're in love, that first stage of love, that person could do no wrong, right? None whatsoever. They are an angel, right? Yeah. So a practice to help you with mudita would be taking in the good. Pick somebody, right? Taking in the good will help you start to notice your stories about that person as well, right? If you have any negative biases for that person, right? But start to, what's one good quality, one good thing that they do, right? And you can even start superficial, right? Like they showed up and they didn't smell today, like something, right? You got to start somewhere, right? Take in something good about that other person, about the situation, about the world, right? Start to savor these moments. So I would recommend that practice. Anybody heard of Goenka? You guys have done Vipassana? You haven't done Vipassana. So Goenka was probably one of the most popular teachers because he was the guy that founded the Vipassana movement and these Vipassana centers all over the world. Very influential, right? And they do teach the immeasurables at certain stages of the practice. And this is what he said. When you see other people progressing, becoming happier, if your mind is not pure, you will generate jealousy toward these people. Why did they get this and not I? I'm a more deserving person. Why are they given such a position of power or status? Why not me? Why have they earned so much money? Why not me? Right? This kind of jealousy is the manifestation of an impure mind. He's in the Theravada tradition, so it's a lot about pure and defilements, right? Right? And we could say like a mind that's caught, right? A mind that's caught. As your mind gets purer by vipassana, insight, meditation, and your metta, and this is an interesting point, and your metta gets stronger, metta, right? That loving kindness. As your metta gets stronger, you will feel happy when seeing others. And then you'll have thoughts like, all around there is misery. Look, at least one person is happy. May he be happy and contented. May he progress in the Dharma and progress in worldly ways. This is mudita, sympathetic happiness. It will come. Right? Yeah, it's very interesting how he phrased it. And a lot of teachers don't teach it, teach the four measurables as a supportive, right? They're usually, yes, yeah, right? But it's this like integrated practice, right? Integrate. Manola, she's not going to be here, and for the one that she wanted the most was equanimity. And I was like, don't worry, Manola, through the meditative practice, equanimity is worked throughout, right? Everything is integrated. In certain traditions, they start with equanimity first, because if you don't have a meditative stability and equanimity, a peace of mind, a peace of heart, there's no way that you can be like, may you be well. It's not going to happen, you know? It's not going to happen. But these practices are integrative. And Goenka says, in particular, he says that loving kindness, that metta practice, will give you the energy needed to break through, to start to be able to have that connected joy, that unbiased joy, that appreciation, that appreciative joy for another person when they're winning, even when you're not, right? To get past that judgmental criticism, that inner critic, right? That's constantly comparing. And we're going to go back to our buddy now, Nayana Bonica Terra. Yes, it was. It was. Yeah, like remember the first time? Terrible. Okay, so not only to compassion, but also to joy with others, open your heart. Small indeed is the share of happiness and joy allotted to beings. Whenever a little happiness comes to them, then you may rejoice that at least one ray of joy has pierced through the darkness of their lives and dispelled the gray and gloomy mist that enwraps their hearts. That's a very interesting way to put it, right? That for the most part, people are hurting and in pain. And when those brief moments of joy and jubilation and winning, yes, good for them. That they have this brief moment. Yes. And these moments of happiness, these moments, and in the Buddhist path they don't talk about it a lot, but these happiness, this joy, is an energy that's necessary for you not to take your life so serious, not to take other people's lives so serious, and to give you the energy to get forward on your practice. Your life will gain in joy by sharing the happiness of others as if it were your own. Did you never observe how in moments of happiness people's features change and become bright with joy? Have you never noticed how joy rouses people to noble aspirations and deeds, exceeding their normal capacity? Did not such experiences fill your own heart with joyful bliss? It is in your power to increase such experience of sympathetic joy by producing happiness in others, by bringing them joy and solace. Let us teach real joy to everyone. Many have unlearned it. Life, though full of woe, holds also sources of happiness and joy unknown to most. Let us teach people to seek and to find real joy within themselves, and to rejoice with the joy of others. Let us teach them to unfold their joy to ever sublimer heights. Do you know anybody that, like, they downplay their happiness? That they don't want to show up and show how their life is going well for fear, right? That other people might not appreciate it, might talk badly about it, right? It's very interesting, right? Noble and sublime joy is not foreign to the teachings of the Enlightened One. Wrongly, the Buddha's teaching is sometimes considered to be a doctrine diffusing melancholy. Far from it. The Dharma leads step by step to an ever purer and loftier happiness. Noble and sublime joy is a helper on the path to the extinction of suffering. Not a person who is depressed by grief, but one possessed of joy finds that serene calmness leading to a contemplative state of mind. And only a mind serene and collected is able to gain the liberating wisdom. Interesting, right? So here he positions it that it's a foundational element. Foundational element. Anybody that has broken through to any stage of quote-unquote higher realization, there's a bubbling up, a wellspring of joy that comes through them. The more sublime and noble the joy of others is, the more justified will be our own sympathetic joy. A cause for our joy with others is their noble life, securing them happiness here and in lives thereafter. He's saying, like, the biggest joy is like if you see, right, other people pursuing the path, right? Pursuing the path. Because, like, there's let's call it mundane joy, right? And then, right, the joy of the Dharma, which isn't conditional, right? Isn't conditional, right? Because, like, we can get a new pot, right? But if I put my pot, all my happiness in this, I'm bound for misery, right? And this is where we put most of our happiness and find most of our joy, is in things, acquisitions, right? And yes, so, you know, a lot of times when the path is presented, right, there's a big, like, okay, really, like, we shouldn't be celebrating anything about the mundane, right, hedonistic, the lay practitioner path, right, the acquiring of wealth in any way and all this stuff, right? So no, the more insightful way to look at it is that, like, yeah, like, I appreciate this for what it is, right? I take joy in the joy that I get to bring to others and the joy it brings to me. But I'm not attached to it. I don't cling to this, right? If it's already gone from me. I can't take it with me, right? It's bound to break, right? But most people, right, will put their joy in those external situations, people, places, and things, right? And a lot of teachers don't talk about that. Yeah, like, feel the joy of, right, a noble life, a good life, a life that you're making some good solid money, right? That you're able to provide for your family and help out friends, that you're able to support dharmas and good causes in the world, right? Yeah, feel good about that, right? Feel good. And then, like, the next level, when you see people showing up on the spirit, doesn't matter, who cares what tradition, right? That they're pursuing, right, something greater than themselves, right? Celebrate that even more, right? One of my teachers, they said that, like, you know, like, we go and we pursue, like, these mundane things. But what's the point? If you get to your end of your life, and you bought a lot of clothes, and you ate a lot of food, and you had a lot of sex, and you bought a lot of things. Really? And this is the highest ideal right now of society, is consumerism, right? And that the world is based on the GDP, right? And that GDP is tied into consumption, that consumption that is without any awareness, that's ready to rape and pillage everything for profit. Right? But really, if we bring our wise and open hearts to that aspect of life, then we can see that the purpose of this is to support the Dharma, to support the help that we can bring the world. The support, right? This gives us the ability and the time to do this. Right? You could be working tonight. Some people are working tonight, right? This, the blessing of this, has given you the opportunity for this. So see that. Understand that. Appreciate this. Right? Naturally supportive. Even in the strict monk community, they still need money for shelter, robes, food, medicine. Right? Still there. Right? So appreciate it. Understand it. When somebody's winning, yes, right? Yes. A still nobler cause for our joy with others is their faith in the Dharma, their understanding of the Dharma, and their following of the Dharma. Let us give them the help of the Dharma. Let us strive to become more and more able ourselves to render such help, right? And our own lives, right, again, become a blessing, right? Sympathetic joy means a sublime nobility of heart, like we talked about earlier, that nobility, right? Sublime nobility of heart and intellect, which knows, understands, and is ready to help. Sympathetic joy that is strength and gives strength. This is the highest joy. And what is the highest manifestation of sympathetic joy? To show to the world the path leading to the end of suffering, the path pointed out, trodden, and realized to the perfection by him, the exalted one, the Buddha. Right? Yeah, and see, he ties in, right? We have our relative happiness, and then they're both, right? Yeah. And the mundane, yeah, celebrate that. And when you see other people winning, celebrate that. And more, right? Yeah. And you have the energy, right? You're not bogged down, right? Mudita, right? You'll start to notice more and more and more how much energy you have devoted to criticizing and judging the world and everybody in it. It's crazy how much time and energy we spend on this. And how much time, like, even if it's internal, and then it bubbles out to external gossip and bad-mouthing and all this stuff, right? Yeah. But now it can be directed somewhere else. You can notice it when you're caught getting dragged away, right? That inner monologue that you have, right? Yeah. Yeah. Connected, sympathetic, vicarious, appreciative joy. Right? Start to, your inner circle, start to notice when it spontaneously arises. Savor it, relish it, right? And a lot of times too, right, we might feel a little bit shy to congratulate someone. To be like, that's awesome, man. Wow. How did that make you feel? Ask them, like, hear the story, and then you get to benefit from it. You get the blessings from it. That was one of the big things too that was revealed in that when everybody had to bring, right, was taking in the good and had to bring a good thing that happened from this very day, then we all got to benefit from it, because we would hear the, oh yeah, wicked, yeah, right? Wow. you're winning and I'm winning at the same time. This is awesome. Yeah. And with my kids, what we do is we do a thing called the circle of life, right? So when we're at dinner, we go around the circle. Okay, what's something awesome that happened in your day today? Right? So that we can, right? Because everybody's, right? There's a whole world, a whole story behind me, right? That happened today, right? Before I've seen you guys, right? And so it helps you, right? Connect with the people in your life. Buddhism is about connections, your relationship, right? Your interrelatedness to everything, right? And that it continually breaks down the barriers that you have, then ultimately breaks down this idea of a self, a separate self, right? Okay, you guys want to meditate?